Like Us, and we're here with the women of the pit. Would you both like to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do and where you're from?
I guess I'll go first. I'm Lori Zaun. I'm here on Cape Cod. I'm originally from New York. I have a day job. I work in science research, and I also I'm a ceramic artist at night. And I help organize Women of the Pit.
Nice.
Hi, my name's Gina. I am also a organizer of Women of the Pit. It's important for us not to say leader because the group belongs to all of us. So we kind of just steer it along the way, right? We don't.
Yes.
That's important for us. I'm a librarian by day, a mom of two girls who are now in their 20s. My babies. My oldest daughter is actually going to be 26 on Friday. Well, she'll be 26 by the time this airs, but yeah. And I'm also a watercolor artist and a wannabe drummer. Yeah,
that's so cool. I tried and it was such a fail.
Yeah. And as soon as she learns those drums, she has a bassist because I started playing bass during the pandemic.
Yeah,
I feel like we're in the same situation right
I know,
now.
we did the same thing.
We're like, once we learn this,
it came out during the pandemic. We had all this energy. You don't know what to do, so I started banging on the drum.
I love that you said there's no leaders. Like in Women of the Pit, it's a true collective of women.
Yeah, that's really important for us to be open. Like our group is for all women, and we're not like trying to tell anybody how to be or what to do. It's just we're here to support and lift and raise other voices of women and those who identify as women.
Nice.
Yeah, and we like to kind of shine the spotlight on everybody in the group. Whether you are a band or a photographer, artist, and whether you're just a fan of the music, we like to shine a spotlight on everybody. So like we're kind of like, the group is the stage act and we're just like the stage hands,
Yeah.
So that's what we kind of like to think of ourselves as.
Yeah. And that's reflective on your social media too. We love reading your little who are we
Oh yeah.
We love those.
You guys should do one. You should do one.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna send you the links for doing our.
We love those though, because there's no really rhyme or reason as to who you're picking. It's just kind of like whoever wants to do it can do it, and we love seeing all different types of people get featured, whether it's someone who's just an active fan who goes to shows and really loves being in the punk community. And then today you posted Nancy, who, came out with that book, it's great. You had Bride Riot too recently, who's a great band too to come out of. I think, are they New Jersey too?
Yeah, they're in Jersey. Yeah.
And just all these different people that make up, the scene. And it's so cool because everyone has their own part to it, whether they think they, do or don't. That's cool.
That's absolutely true. And I've had some people tell me, oh, well, I'm not really interesting enough. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like everybody's interesting. We're all interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just nice to get everybody involved. I'm hoping that eventually I get to everybody in this group.
Yeah. And I think too, once people, see it and come across the group and everything, you're going to attract more and more people too who like the message and like what you do and do want to be a part of it. Because, women have made great strides in punk, but there's still such a long way to go. And
absolutely.
And the more we can find each other and, support each other, the stronger we'll be, which is your little stronger together hashtag.
Yeah,
that in.
We want to link up with all those other groups too. There's Ex Sisterhood X, and there's people like you. I just followed a bunch of new groups today. Just trying to link up all these great groups that are doing pretty much the same as us in their own little corner, so in their own little ways.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see. It's really cool.
That's amazing. Yeah. Like a collaboration versus competition.
Absolutely.
type of atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so cool to see like how everyone does their own thing. You know what I mean? Like there's so many groups out there, so many pages doing the exact same things we are, but it's their way of doing it, you know? It's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, everyone brings something unique to the table. Like with the, the little excerpts of the Who Are We excerpts, like you could find people that you've never would have known about otherwise, but then this group that you follow posts about them and you're like, oh, this is something new and fresh that I
Now,
wouldn't
if
have.
you
Yeah.
see them at a show, you'll be like, yo, I saw your interview.
I know you.
That was really cool. And maybe you have something in common, or maybe, you even hook up on social media. Like, I was from there too, or I like that band too, or, just like little things that we all have in common bring us closer together.
Yeah. I think that's how we kind of found you, was through the Anti-Flag tour with Bad Cop and
yeah.
we saw you on like their stories, like everyone was reposting each other's stories because they're all together, and one thing that stuck out for me that I was like, oh my gosh, look at how cute they are, like this little group, was at the show there was a small group of you that wore, the Women of the Pit shirts and sweaters. You were all together and you took a group picture in front of the banner, and you had put like in your story, if anyone needs help or feels uncomfortable at the show, like find one of us and we'll help you out. And I thought that was so cool to see. Like you don't see that a lot at shows, but it was just really cute. Like this little group of women is like at this show together and they want to like make sure everyone feels safe and comfortable.
Yeah. It was like immediate safe space. Like you could just feel it.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of our admins was actually on tour with them. She's their stage manager, and we're lucky to have her as like part of our admin group. Yeah, but that's May Ling was on tour with them. She was their road crew.
Yeah, I saw the banner. It was like the first show they had your banner up on the stage. I was like, look at how cute this is. Liz was like in her tank top. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're kind of hoping to spread that around, like just that message, so that people don't feel, like alone if they get into trouble.
Yeah.
So.
Or even just being there by yourself, right? Like sometimes, we all go to shows by ourselves. Sometimes, maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Another friendly face, or someone that it could just be a little bit. It makes you feel a little bit more comfortable at a show.
Yeah.
Not to say like bad things happen at hardcore shows. It's just having somebody who's there.
Yeah, I was thinking more of a panic attack, but
yeah,
when I said bad trouble, yeah, because that's what would happen to me.
Well, that's even if I get in the door, right? So should I tell them?
Exactly.
So when this all first started, Lori and I were like on the phone. First of all, we didn't know each other like until this group. We met through this group. And there was a show coming up. I don't even remember who was playing, but I didn't know anybody there. Like back in the day, we used to go to shows by ourselves because we knew everybody that was there. But a lot of the people I grew up with aren't around anymore. And there was a show and I wanted to go, and I was like, I'm going to go by myself. And then I get there and I'm like having anxiety, like walking into a place by myself. And so I called Lori and she's like, you can do it. And it was just so funny. It was so like, I look back and I'm like, it's a little pathetic, but not really, because like walking into a place where you don't know anybody and you don't know how people are going to be, like, again, back in the day, people really, it wasn't always so friendly. So I still have that in my head, but it was fine. It's all fine.
It's the thought of going into something and not knowing what to expect, even though you kind of know, like,
right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
It is scary.
And it's kind of the whole concept behind starting this group. I mean, I originally, Daisha and I, who's one of our organizers as well, Daisha and I met on the New York Hardcore Chronicles with Drew Stone, his podcast. We met in the chat room, and then he had us both on his show. And afterwards we were talking, and she's like, oh, I don't really have many people to go to shows to, because of her situation. She had been out of the scene for a couple of years, and I had been out of the scene for a couple of years. I was like, yeah, it's the same thing with me too. And, like we should start a Facebook page for people like us who don't have, anybody to go to shows with, and maybe we can network and blah, blah, blah. That's originally what it was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be this whole thing. We were not expecting all these people to follow us. We were expecting, little loner hardcore nerds to follow us, like people like us, like, I don't have any friends to go to shows with. And the next thing we know, it just exploded into, what it is today. It grew very quickly. And we just kind of, accepted it and refocused
going with it, right? We're just going.
Just kept going.
Now we have a song, we're putting on shows, and we're raising.
We never expected this.
You're having fun with it.
Yeah, this was not part of the plan.
It's okay. This wasn't part of our plan either.
This wasn't our plan either. What was our initial? I don't even remember our initial plan.
Our initial idea, let's just try to find some people.
Yeah,
literally. Yeah, we started ours on an afternoon. We're like, you know what, we're gonna do this, and then we created the Instagram page, and we're like, okay, well now what do we do? We have.
What do we do with this?
We have this page now. What?
Right. Next thing you know, you have 2,500 followers. Who's like, okay, so now what's next? And you're just like,
right. You have this audience of people what are we doing? What's going on?
And you're expecting things from you.
It's exciting to know that you have kind of an influence on people, but at the same time you're like, don't look at me. Don't it's the count.
Oh yeah, sure.
What did we do?
I know, it's scary.
We'll hide in the back, thanks. We're not about being in the spotlight, even doing this. I was like, does it have to be at 7:00? Can't we just get it over with so I don't obsess all day long about this interview?
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, it's cool to see just how fast things are growing and how receptive people are, and it's just cool to see these accounts doing something for something that's much bigger than themselves, you know what I mean? Because you're all putting on shows now, which is so cool to see, and kind of a huge deal, especially in the hardcore scene. It's still very male dominated, but you have Maffa and all these little bands that are women of the pit bands, that follow and engage on the account that are now on these shows, and it's so cool. You have the little women of the pit logo in the corner with all these little bands, and it's kind of helping bring in this other group that's been so underrepresented.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the good part of what we do, right? Because we can uplift the voices and amplify those voices that we want. Ma'afa is
they should be much bigger than they are.
Unbelievable. Yeah, just unbelievable. So again, Flora is also part of our admin group, and we're grateful to have her. That kid is so talented and brilliant. She's a brilliant musician and just a lovely human. And she's doing both of our shows. Her band Ma'afa is playing at both of our shows. We have one coming up in Massachusetts and then another one in New York at the Bowery Electric. So that's going to be sick.
You can feel the excitement.
So good. So good. I was listening to Wisdom and War today. So I was like, I need to learn all their lyrics because I want to my ass off at their show, singing with them. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Well, that's the other thing. Even bands that don't have women in them, support our mission, right? There's a lot of bands out there like that, Rebelmatic. There's Enziguri,
Silence Equals Death.
Silence Equals Death.
Yeah.
Did I say Rebelmatic? Did I say that?
Yeah, they really support our mission. Jerry X.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands that really have gotten behind us, and right from day one. Yeah. So that's been great to see.
Yeah, it's cool to have the guys support, and Drew too. Drew.
Yeah.
Stone, where it all started from his show.
He's been amazing. So our first kind of event that we co-hosted was a holiday party at Generation Records,
Yeah.
And so it was he was doing his book signing and we were co-hosting, and it was really great. We're going to be doing another event with him at Generation Records, and that's the Nancy Burrell book signing.
Yeah.
of the I'm Not Holding Your Coat. We were super excited about that book. And right when that book was rolling out, that's when our group started.
Okay.
And so, and Nancy is also another one of our organizers. So,
Yeah.
she's very involved in the page, and we were very involved with her book. It was just so amazing. We did a
We all
t-shirt.
bonded over her book, right?
Yeah, we really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really did. So, we did a t-shirt, an I'm Not Holding Your Coat t-shirt. And we sold them to raise money for a scholarship at her high school.
Wow.
So, so that was really a lot of fun to do with her. And, like we said, we just love the book. It's just such a great, and we want to encourage more people to like tell their stories,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that book is great. And I love looking back on like what the punk scene was versus like how it is now. Like it's just reminiscent, like to see like the changes and everything. My parents were punks too, like in the 80s, like
Oh, yeah.
involved in, like the LA scene.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's always cool to hear like old stories about like.
You don't want to hear my old stories.
My mom has those same old stories too. She gets them, but she still won't tell me. And I'm like, okay.
Like, you had told me then when I was like 15, 16 years old in the 80s that we would be doing this interview, that the scene was even still around, I would have said, you're out of your mind. We were all just flying by the seat of our pants. It really wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It was fun, but it was,
it was something.
Yeah.
It's also a lot of people, a lot of people are gone. I'll tell you what I didn't have growing up back then in the scene was a group of women like this. I always wanted, but there just really weren't a lot of women around in New York hardcore.
Yeah.
So I had my group of guy friends who were like brothers to me. They were like my family. And we all grew up together and looked out for each other. There's still a couple of them around. One lives in California. He's in San Francisco, my friend Chris.
That's awesome.
I have another friend, Chris, that's still out here. But most of the other ones are just not around anymore.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I'm grateful for this group, for the group of women. Like it just wasn't, it didn't exist back then.
It's like interesting. And you think about like a lot of different factors too that play into it. Like social media wasn't a thing back then.
No. Oh, it was so DIY, like just handing out flyers, like be at the park at 2:00, come through, or we're going to be over here on Sunday, come by, and we just like that's how it was.
Yeah, that's what my parents said too. Like, how did you know? Like, how did you know when shows were happening, or how did you know when people were meeting up? Like, I was thinking about it, like as I was watching it, I was like, how did people just know where to go, or who was playing? Like,
yeah, we did it. We did it, and
sometimes you would show up someplace and it would be canceled, or it would be the wrong place.
Yeah, or getting lost. There was no GPS, so imagine that. Like,
you would just be asking everybody along the way, following people that
and you run into
might
somebody
be going where you're going.
Makes for a great story, though.
I know, right?
We somehow survived. We somehow did it,
There used to be a payphone outside of Tompkins Square that we all had the phone number to. So sometimes we would just call to see like who's hanging out, like who's down there. Because you could call payphones back then. Do you guys even know what payphones are? I don't know.
Yes, we're not that young.
I don't know those booths, like those Superman booths. Nobody knows what they are anymore. But yeah, we would like call the phone and see who was hanging out, if any, like what was going on, if anything was happening before we went down.
Yeah,
I forgot about that even until just now. That's funny.
Jeez, yeah, different time, but looking back, it does make you a little more grateful for the group and just having that collective group of women to now go to shows with.
Yeah.
Especially after being away from it for a while. So I, raising my girls, being away from it, like that was where my focus was for a long time.
Yeah.
And so coming back now, it's so much fun. I'm like, let's go. Shows, yeah, we'll put on shows, like book signing, let's do it. Like I'm all
Yeah, it was the same for me too. I was away for a while because, I married somebody who was not into hardcore. And it's very difficult if you're not into the music to sit through concerts like that. You don't understand what's going on. It's like, I could get him every once in a while to go to like a heavy metal show, because I also love like thrash metal and stuff. And I remember the last show we were at, it was a Overkill show, and he was just like this in the corner, and he looked at me and he's like, "Is it over yet?" And I was like, "Okay, we can't do this anymore." So I started going to shows by myself, and as I said before, like I have anxiety, so like I made my car my safe space and all that stuff. I had like ways of dealing with it, but I wanted to go to the shows that badly. So started going by myself. So having a group like this is just everything, because I know there has to be like dozens of other people like me.
Oh, 100%.
So yeah.
Would you say like most people in the group are East Coast based, or is it kind of spread out all over?
I think
actually worldwide right now.
Yeah, it is spread out, but I think there is a concentration of us here, just because that's where we're where it started. But I would love for it to like branch out, and I always try to look for flyers, not East Coast flyers to post. I'm always trying to look for bands that are not East Coast, and so scrolling through, if I can find anything, I always try to like get it all across. Right now there's not too much going on in certain places though, because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's all pretty much a free-for-all out here now, so there's a lot more shows going on here.
Yeah.
But once it all opens up, I hope to get flyers from everywhere, so we can promote all over the world what's going on, and have pit reports from everywhere. So
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're trying to get people to do more of that, right? Like when you go to a show, like maybe like do a little video like live from the pit.
I love that. That's such a good idea.
Everybody's been shy.
Like little recap videos of like the shows and stuff.
Yeah, or even if they write like,
on our
"Hey, I saw a
page,
great
like a
show,
couple of
here's some
pictures."
pictures, something.
Yeah, like I try to do lives when I go to the shows, because if people are from all around the world, right? So not everybody can get out to the shows. So I try to do like a little live of the band, just have like a little clip.
Yeah, I think I watched one of you did it at the Anti-Flag show. There was like one from like the side of the stage. I can't remember.
Oh, that might have been May.
Yeah.
Okay.
They probably went live from over there. Yeah. Because we weren't on the stage.
I was trying to remember like where it was like on the side, like I think it was on Lynn's side.
Oh, that might have been me. No. I was in front of Lynn, but not on the stage, but like right in front.
It was like kind of in that like weird like section, like on the side.
Yeah, that
I did a live from there too when they were in Boston. Yeah.
It was funny because Elisa who's another one of our group members, she was standing next to me and I was going live, and she on her phone, she's like, "Oh, look, somebody's going live." And then she looks at it, she's like, "Wait a second." I'm like, "Elisa, it's me." I'm like, and she's like, "Whoa." She's like mind blown. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So funny. I think we tried to like go live at like a show. It was the Bad Cop show, right? With the Last Gang and Venomous Pinks, the one at Alex.
Yeah, the service was awful.
We were like gonna go live.
Gallery Electric. Sometimes I can't get a signal. If I'm on the like right in front of the stage, I can't get a signal. Sometimes I have to stand on the bench to get a signal.
And we were trying, and it just kept saying like, "Hold on," and then
trying to
forget it.
Rounds and rounds. By then, you're like, forget it.
Yeah, you guys cannot see the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love watching lives, like from wherever it feels like you're there when you can't actually be there, and I love it.
Right.
Yeah,
setting
no,
that
when I'm sitting home
atmosphere.
feeling sorry for myself because I'm not out somewhere, I'm like, who's live? Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Do you ever
Exactly.
see like Women of the Pit hosting shows in other areas?
That's a good
That's a
question.
possibility. Sure. Somebody
not
invite us somewhere.
Turn into like
Somebody
a
invite
whole.
us. Yeah. So yeah, no, so far we've got we've just got the one in Brockton on the 26th of March.
Mhm.
So that's with Dog Eat Dog. I'm gonna forget somebody. So okay, Dog Eat Dog.
Okay, I got it. Ma'afa, Kings Never Die, Carbon Parade, Wisdom and War, and Capricorn.
Okay.
All right.
There we go.
That show's gonna be sick.
That is going to be amazing.
So Dog Eat Dog again, like that brings me back to like when I was a kid, right? So seeing them now is like it's just a whole different experience.
Yeah, and like the people of the fine city of Brockton are amazing. They are, I mean, the scene there is just awesome, explosive. I love it. It's at a VFW. It's put on by Brockton Hardcore Shows, which is run by Shauna. And so it's like a women run, promoter. And it's just got that old school feel to it, It's like a hardcore show in a VFW hall. I love it. So it's great. And the people who run it are great. And the bathrooms are clean. And everything's wonderful about it.
There's always toilet paper.
These flashbacks.
I was like crazy show, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, the bathrooms are delightful." You don't say that about too many venues.
Oh, that's right.
There's somebody in there handing you paper towels.
Right.
Well, I don't go that far, but there's always paper towels in there, and there's 4 stalls.
Wow. And they all work?
Right?
Yes, yes, it's crazy.
Wow. That's something.
Yeah, you don't see that a lot at shows.
No. But the sound there is also great too. Let's just say that as well.
Yeah.
Sound there is great. The people are great. I love shows there. So
I haven't been there yet. This is my first time heading
yeah,
up.
you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
I love
Looking
that.
forward to it. And then a week later, we've got
Bowery Electric.
Bowery Electric Rampage Fest 3. So we are co-hosting that again. Drew Stone.
Again with Drew Stone. Yeah.
Yes.
Fahrenheit 451. We have Rebelmatic, The High and the Mighty, Ma'afa again, and then a bunch of others like Bride Riot and Ape and Fright. And I'm forgetting somebody.
Scum City.
Yes.
Yep. So 8 bands. It's going to be amazing.
That's
Two
awesome.
stages,
A
8
lot
bands.
of diversity on the bill, which we love.
Right, like
so
a
we're
block
always striving
away.
for that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I like it because it's a block away from CB's. So like being it kicks back a lot of memories though.
And also because we can eat at Organic Grill.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, when you're in New York City, you got to eat at Organic Grill.
Oh,
That's our little product
favorite
spot.
part.
How would you compare like the scene now versus the scene back, in the 80s and 90s?
Okay, so it's definitely more diverse and I love it. I feel like there's this whole new movement of bands that are finally getting their voices heard, right? They've always been there and always been a part of the scene, but maybe not necessarily brought to the front of the scene. And seeing them like come to light and shine is really exciting for me. And also just to have this girl group again, when I was a kid, there was no girl gang. It was just like me and a bunch of guys, and that was it. Like there was no, hey sis, I got your back. It was, look out for your own.
Don't look at my boyfriend.
Yeah, well,
A lot of that going on.
right. But I love that it's more inclusive and more diverse. I think we still have a long way to go, but we've also come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to piggyback off something you said, Lori, when Gina was talking right now. You said about like, don't look at my boyfriend, like type thing. Like, not speaking on that specifically, but a broader theme of, you know, women supporting women. There's not a lot of spaces for women still. That's the reality. You're gonna have an organization that has, you know, 20 men and like 2 women, you know. And as much as we want to say, you know, we support each other, we want to help each other out, we want to do all these things to uplift everyone, the reality is we're still going to encounter cases where it feels like a competition, or it feels like we're going head to head with each other, or, you know, all these other things that we really try not to do, but it tends to feel like that at times. And this was something that we had talked about with Theo from Lunachicks. She said, you know, in the 90s with all these bands, you know, Lunachicks, Babes in Toyland, L7, Bikini Kill, Bratmobile, like all these bands were so good at the time. And when shows were being scheduled, they would only put, you know, 1, maybe 2 bands on the bill that had women in it. And it created this competition with them that they didn't want. You know, they're trying to, you know, represent women and, you know, be at the forefront, do all these things, but when they're trying to compete for that one spot, it can be hard to uplift the person next to you when you also want that spot. You know what I mean? What do you think about that collectively, and like what are some ways to kind of just combat that and not really like pay attention to it, or, you know, maybe steer it to where it can be productive in a sense for both people, or, you know, whatever it is?
I think that, I mean, in anything in life, really, you can only be responsible for your own mindset. And so I think just being consistent with supporting others, you know, adjusting somebody else's crown, as they say, you know, and just being consistent with it and not responding to any pettiness or, you know, if somebody is, you know, trying to compete or something like that, just not responding to it.
Yeah,
Just
don't
having that
engage.
mindset. Yeah, don't engage. Just having that mindset. And so, you know, I strive to always, you know, give other groups shout outs. And if you need something promoted, please come to us. We will promote it. You know, that's I am always begging for that, really, you know, like, hey, let us give your businesses and this and that podcast, whatever, a shout out. We definitely will. You know, so just having that mindset and ignoring the competition, I think is something that we all should, you know, do, and maybe, you know, it'll be contagious.
Yeah. Like we know younger generations are looking at us and trying to like see what we're doing to try to model themselves. And so that's important for us to represent women in that light, right? Like we want to support and uplift other voices. We're not like, we don't go to shows to like hook up with the other bands. Like that's not, we're not there. We're there for the music, you know, like that's not our purpose. We're not, and when we see people acting like that, it really just, it's not any part of our mission. It's not part of, you know, my life outside of the hardcore scene. It's just not who we even are as individuals. So that's not what we bring to the group at all. Yeah. You know, it's all about, again, I have 2 daughters, you know, so like teaching them, raising them, you know, to be little feminists and, you know, supporting other women. Like when you support others, we all rise, right?
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask what like how did you both get introduced to punk initially?
You want to go first?
Yeah, it's kind of simple. So I was a thrash metal girl, and I saw the Cro-Mags open up for Anthrax. And so that was, I always say that was my gateway, because the energy, and I don't know, I was just blown away. So yeah, that was how I got like kind of introduced to the world of hardcore. Yeah.
And you just decided to get tickets or somebody else got you tickets for the show, or you
Oh,
just
okay. So I used to work at a record store called Agents of Fortune on Long Island. And I was listening to like punk bands and things like that. I love DOA. Um, and yeah, we were I think we were on I think I might have even have been on a guest list because we always sold the tickets to all the shows. Like back in the day, you would go to record stores and you can get the tickets. So yeah. So yeah, I would go to all the thrash metal shows and stuff, and then I started going to hardcore shows after that.
Nice.
Aww.
Yeah. Little baby Lori going to shows.
So I was in New Jersey, and as soon as I could, I was like 15 years old, and I used to sneak out with like my older friends because I always hung out with older people, and we would drive to the city. We used to go to this club called L'Amour's in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, L'Amour's. I'm like, why didn't we meet back then?
I don't know.
Because that was like my second home.
Yeah. So we used to go to shows there, and a lot of bands played there. Before CB's, before like we went to CB's, but those shows were always like Friday night, Saturday night. And then finally someone came with flyers for a Sunday show. We were like, Sunday matinee, like who hangs out on Sundays? And we went, and I was just like, yo, like it was like, you know what was cool about that? Because even L'Amour's had like a bigger stage, right? And there was like a backstage, so it was still a little rock starry, even if
there was like
right there. You were all in, like the bands were just hanging out. Like 1 second they're like dancing next to you, and the next minute they're like up on stage. It was just the community. Like I was just sold right from the get-go. And then those were our Sundays. Those were our Sunday matinees. There was back then there was a bunch of clubs. I don't even remember a lot of them, but I missed like the whole A7 thing. Everybody talks about A7. I was like a couple of years out of that. But we used to go to a lot of shows at the Ritz.
Yep.
There used to be the Ritz when it was on. Yeah. It's Webster Hall now. They have the Black and Blue there though at Webster Hall.
Yeah. They had the Right Track in on Long Island, and they had shows at Sundance. And
I've been to Sundance.
Yeah, Sundance. Yeah. Yeah.
There was a place, Animal Hall in Brooklyn too. We used to go to. So it was like immediate, like this is where I belong, like not fitting in anywhere else. Like those are my people. Those are my people. The energy in that room,
Yeah.
Even at shows now, like it's just, I love it. I love it. I don't know. There's probably something like in our brains that like
there's something different.
Like those shows.
Yeah, always like that, heavy music, heavy driving, like the passion, the vocals, the just explosive nature of it. It just
and then look, we were angry. We were angry kids, and the music reflected it. And it was just our way of life.
Yeah.
I'm not that angry anymore. I still like the Chromags.
I think I connect more with hardcore now than metal. Metal was always like, more about like, demons and fantasy and kind of, not all of it, but like one of my first bands, I loved Iron Maiden, Mm-hmm. And but hardcore music was more about the struggle, and I was just like, as a teen, I mean, I actually, you're not working, you're not paying taxes, you're not voting, now I'm pissed off, now I'm just like, like
just like, why were we so angry as kids?
I know, it's like, whoa, calm down, yeah, but yeah, I think I connect more with those lyrics now. Now that you raise a teenager and you reach those levels of anger you never knew existed, and yeah, I think I connect better now.
Do your kids listen to the same music as you do, or are they like no?
My youngest, the other day, we were out to dinner and she's like, there's two kinds of music I hate. She goes, country music and my mom's. I was like, yes. But
Wow.
it's funny because my girls don't like the music, but their attitude, their way of thinking, their whole being is so hardcore, like they don't even know it, but they are.
You're
I
like,
would
just
say
wait,
the
you'll
same
get
about
there.
my daughter as well. My daughter's she's 21 and she listens to I don't even know what it is. It's like some kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of, well, actually, I don't even want to say because maybe somebody out there would like the music and get all insulted. So I'm not going to say what it is, but I think it's crap. And, I like walking past our room and saying, Alexa, play Agnostic Front all the time. But, but she's got a punk rock attitude,
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, one final roundup for this. What would you say, or like, what kind of advice would you give to someone who either might want to go to a show by themselves or just wants to find, a sense of community amongst a punk scene that might not be as representative of themselves?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Right? I think, so if you're into the music and you want to go to a show, like go to a show, like you'll find your people, like go to a show. And groups like ours, like if it's, if they reach out to us, like maybe you can put feelers out and be like, who's going? Is anybody going? A lot of the younger kids we talk to, like they really don't have any problem.
They don't have a problem.
They're like, yeah, we're just going to go. So
yeah.
I feel like, especially at hardcore shows, like people are just like real and down to earth and like, you're going to find your people. I'd say just go.
Yeah, I would give that advice too. Just, you can reach out on our page, but if you don't find anybody, just go.
Yeah, just
And,
go.
hey, I found myself in that position like 6 months after starting this group. I went to go see Sheer Terror in Providence and I didn't know anybody there. And I was like, oh no, now I got to put my, words to practice. And, it's always easy meeting people on the bathroom line because you're all tapped and you got time. So, and that's what I did. I met my friend Susan there. So we both had a Matryoshka tattoo and like a nesting doll tattoo on our arm. So that's how we met. So, you just never know. Just, you'll always find somebody friendly at a show.
I mean, I've met people in the pit, like, and like my friend, other Gina, I call her, she always says like, if it's a good day, like you want to be there at a show in the pit. If you're having a bad day, you want to be there at the show in the pit. Like it's where we meet our people. So.
Yeah, definitely. I love that.
Yeah.
You want to plug like your social media and where people can find you and all of that?
Yeah. Thank you.
So you can find us on Facebook, Women of the Pit. We have a closed group for just the ladies or people identifying, and we're on IG, Women of the Pit, and that's for everybody.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. And also, like, we've got our merch now. So this is our merch behind me. This is all these boxes here.
Oh, wow.
So, and our merch is all the profits go to One Simple Wish. So, and you can find us on Etsy, Women of the Pit. So buy a sweatshirt, t-shirt, tanks. I got windbreakers back here. So, and that all gets donated to One Simple Wish that helps kids in the foster care system.
Yeah, so that's another thing I think that's important to mention that we kind of glossed over too. Like, yeah, we raise money for charity, but like the money that we're making, we're not doing this like to make money. Yeah. Like all the money, all the profits are either going back into the merch or going to charity. So I think, that's important to say. Like it's all going to a good cause to make the world a better place.
Yay.
Yeah.
One sweatshirt at a time.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was fun.